What's the best type of magnesium to supplement with? In this video, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. There is a dizzying array of different types of magnesium: glycinate, taurate, malate, citrate, sulfate, chloride. Which should you take? I'm also going to tell you in this video why your magnesium levels might be low, how to test your blood magnesium levels, what foods to eat to improve your magnesium status, and what foods to not eat to improve your magnesium status. I'm going to break it all down for you guys in this video about magnesium. Let's get into it. So if you look at crops, it is true that levels of magnesium in grains have declined 20 to 30% since the 1940s. As you'll find out in this video, I don't think grains are a very good source of magnesium for humans because it's not bioavailable magnesium. Other things that can lower your magnesium are insulin resistance. I have lots of videos about how to fix your insulin resistance, improve the quality of your food. Proton pump inhibitors, drugs, pharmaceuticals like that can decrease your magnesium absorption. Chronic gut issues, so ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, probably leaky gut can lower your ability to absorb magnesium from your gut as well. And alcohol is another big one. Alcohol will definitely increase your excretion of magnesium, as will caffeine. So if you're drinking coffee, and I know most of you are, think about maybe supplementing with extra magnesium to offset the losses from that caffeine in the coffee. If you're taking creatine with your coffee, you need to watch a recent YouTube video I did on how that might not be the best idea. I'll put a link here. And if you want the best coffee in the world, check out our Lineage coffee, which is shade-grown, organic, mold-free, pesticide-free, etc. I don't drink coffee, but I know you guys do, so I wanted to make the best coffee available for you. Exercise and sweating can also increase your need for magnesium. So if you're doing a lot of sauna, you might need to increase your dietary intake of magnesium or think about supplementation. What about foods? Let's talk about foods before we get to supplements. If you do a ChatGPT search, best sources of magnesium, it will tell you stuff that is, well, it will say beans, it will say nuts, it will say spinach, and it will say grains. Though these foods have magnesium, that magnesium is not bioavailable, and this has been shown multiple times. Spinach is full of oxalates, which are harmful for your joints, maybe accumulating in other tissues of your body like the thyroid, and it's going to prevent your body from absorbing the magnesium in the spinach. Oats are the same thing. Oats have phytic acid. A lot of grains have phytic acid. So if you're thinking you're getting magnesium from things like almonds, think again, because that magnesium is bound to phytates. It's bound to phytic acid. Though almonds might say they have lots of magnesium, you're not absorbing that magnesium as well as you think you are. The best food sources of magnesium are foods that have moderate to large amounts of magnesium that don't contain phytic acid, which is a large molecule that chelates magnesium. It bites onto magnesium and prevents you from absorbing it. So you want foods that don't have phytic acid, which are essentially foods that are not grains or beans, and you want foods that don't have a lot of oxalates. I have a video that I've done in the past where I look at my diet, my animal-based diet, and I break it down on Cronometer. I can link to that here, and I show you guys that eating an animal-based diet, I meet the RDA, around 400 milligrams per day of magnesium, eating those foods: orange juice, milk, coconut water, and meat. That's important to understand, that meat can actually be a very good source of magnesium, even though it's only about 25 milligrams of magnesium per 100 grams of meat. Most of us are eating 500 plus grams of meat per day, so that's a good source of magnesium. Bananas have around 32 milligrams of magnesium, avocados, something similar. Coconut water is a standout. Coconut water has about 50 to 60 milligrams of magnesium per 1 cup. Milk and orange juice, 25 to 30 milligrams of magnesium per 1 cup. But if you're like me and you drink 3 or 4 cups of milk per day, then you're getting a decent amount of magnesium in your milk. Or if you're juicing a lot of oranges and making fresh squeezed orange juice, you could be getting magnesium that way. So I think the best sources of magnesium are not what ChatGPT tells you. ChatGPT is wrong about this. I know that's going to cause some tear in the space-time continuum, but it's wrong. Another source of magnesium in your food could be your water. There are a lot of mineral waters that are moderate in magnesium. I'm thinking of some like Gerolsteiner, which are reasonable sources of magnesium if you want to use a mineral water. Just make sure you look at the certificate of analysis of that mineral water, because some of those can have significant levels of heavy metals. Speaking of heavy metals, ChatGPT also says that cocoa or cacao is a good source of magnesium. Not only is cacao going to contain things like phytic acid and some oxalates, cacao can be very high in heavy metals. So if you are using cacao, make sure you are carefully looking at the certificate of analysis, and that heavy metals are no joke. We're talking about things like lead, mercury, cadmium, and arsenic. Look, we all love chocolate. I can't eat chocolate. It's a sad day over here in the Saladino house because I can't eat chocolate. It tends to trigger my eczema, but I know you guys love chocolate. When you're thinking about chocolate, make sure that you are eating the lowest possible heavy metal tested cacao chocolate that you can. That's really important. Otherwise, you better be checking your heavy metal levels. Speaking of chocolate, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about the best chocolate whey protein in the world. Heart and Soil, this is a company that I built, just came out with our chocolate sea salt whey protein. It's the highest quality whey protein we could find on the planet. It's cold processed, so it preserves so many more of the immunoglobulins in there. And we went to the ends of the earth, guys. There's a COA on the website to find the lowest heavy metal cacao that we could in here. And it's sweetened with a maple syrup. So there's no stevia, no weird artificial flavors. There's no gums. The ingredients in this are the best I've ever seen. Whey protein, organic maple syrup powder, organic raw cacao, and sea salt. That's it. That's all that's in here. No stevia, no gums, no fillers. So in terms of chocolate, whey protein, you guys got to check this out. So how do you know if you are deficient in magnesium? Well, the easiest way is to test. You want to test serum or plasma magnesium and RBC, that stands for red blood cell magnesium. Those are easy blood tests to obtain. You can find them a lot of places. In terms of supplementation, magnesium is one of these things that's pretty safe to supplement with, unless you have kidney disease. If you have chronic kidney issues, your body might not be able to get rid of magnesium, and that can cause problems. But most of us will run into bowel tolerance, which means we'll get disaster pants diarrhea before we run into issues with magnesium levels rising too high in the body. Our kidneys are able to get rid of it, and our guts will just poop it out before it gets too high. So let's get into different types of magnesium, and I'll help you guys demystify this, because there are a lot of people for which supplementation with magnesium may make sense. The first thing to know is that there's not as much research as I wish there were for topical forms of magnesium. Magnesium chloride, this is a magnesium oil. There's actually no oil in magnesium oil. You spray it on your skin. Some people put it on the bottom of their feet or their stomach before they go to sleep. If it helps you fall asleep, great. There's not a ton of data yet to show that this actually meaningfully increases magnesium levels in your body. Apparently, the Dead Sea is very high in magnesium, and that can be good for surface skin conditions. But again, there's no solid evidence that swimming in magnesium-rich waters really meaningfully raises your total body magnesium levels. I love being in the ocean every day for a few hours when I surf, and I wish that magnesium were actually going into my body. We need more research here. Similarly, Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, and it feels good to sit in a bath of Epsom salts. Maybe it helps relax your muscles a little bit, but again, there's not solid evidence to say this actually meaningfully increases blood levels of magnesium. I still think an Epsom salt soak feels amazing, so do it if you choose to. Maybe even put it in your cold plunge, who knows? If you guys find breakdowns like this beneficial, I have a free newsletter. It's every Sunday, and I summarize things like this. I'll tell you all about what the forms of magnesium are. I'll tell you about taurine. I'll tell you about creatine. I'll tell you about caffeine and creatine. Everything I'm thinking about that's as cutting edge as I can make it, I'll put into my free newsletter. It's every Sunday. I'll put a sign up here, and I hope to see you guys in there, and I hope it gives you some value. The other types of magnesium that are common are taurate, malate, glycinate, citrate, and threonate. So magnesium threonate is often talked about with regard to the brain. There's one small study that suggests that maybe the threonine attached form of magnesium helps it get across the blood-brain barrier, but we don't know for sure. If you're thinking of magnesium for sleep or for anything in your brain, threonate might be one to try. Glycinate is another one that most people use for sleep. These two are both pretty well absorbed. Glycine has the benefit of being calming at night, even maybe lowering body temperature. The only thing I'll say about magnesium glycinate is that if you have polymorphisms in the methylation cycle, in the methylation cascade, glycine may use up methyl groups. I don't react well to forms of glycine, so I don't use magnesium glycinate. I know a lot of people that do great with this. So if you have MTHFR or other methylation-related polymorphisms, maybe avoid the glycinate. Excess glycine uses up methyl groups when it goes out of the body. Citrate is not very well absorbed. This is not the type of magnesium to take to raise your blood levels of magnesium. You will have diarrhea, you will have disaster pants first on this. Magnesium citrate is generally what you take when you want to poop. And I know there are effervescent forms of magnesium citrate, Calm, and these. I don't like those actually because they contain citric acid, most of which is derived from aspergillus, a form of black mold. So I don't think I would use citrate first to raise my magnesium levels in my blood. Malate and taurate are very well absorbed, and these are very reasonable to take to increase your magnesium levels in your body. I particularly like magnesium taurate because taurine has been very well studied in terms of cardiovascular health, endothelial health, and overall cardiovascular benefits. Taurine is an amino acid found in meat, the taurus, the taurine. Yet another reason that vegan and vegetarian diets don't make any sense. A lot of people supplement with taurine in general. In the future, I'm going to do a video all about taurine, so stay tuned for that if you want to learn more about taurine in general as a supplement, but I think magnesium taurate is a great form of magnesium. In terms of a summary here, we have magnesium glycinate, magnesium taurate, magnesium malate, magnesium citrate, magnesium threonate, magnesium chloride, and magnesium sulfite. Magnesium chloride and sulfate are topical forms, essentially. Magnesium taurate potentially has cardiovascular benefits, well absorbed. Magnesium malate is well absorbed and can be used as well. Malate is one of the intermediates in the Krebs cycle, so potentially could help with energy regulation in the human body. Magnesium malate is a reasonable form. Glycinate is more calming. Most people use that for sleep. Be careful with MTHFR. Citrate will make you poop. I don't prefer that one. It's not very well absorbed. And threonate is reasonably well absorbed. Maybe goes to the brain better than other forms, though research is still pending. In general, I think if you think you are low in magnesium, start with blood tests, RBC magnesium, plasma or serum magnesium. A lot of people don't need to supplement. I don't supplement with magnesium. My magnesium levels are fine. I think a lot of people have low magnesium levels because they're eating garbage food, they're insulin resistant, and they're wasting magnesium. They're drinking too much alcohol, or they're taking drugs that interfere with magnesium absorption or increase excretion. Let me know if you are taking magnesium, what your magnesium levels are, and if you think it's benefiting you in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next video.